Chair, fellow members, guests. Libya, wonderful country, wonderful people. I was there when Mr. Gaddafi was running it, and so when I was asked to go and sort out this chemical plant, I was thinking twice about going because of its reputation, but in the end I thought, sod it, I might as well, so I went. And I was working in a chemical plant right next to Tunisia, which was great because when I got there they said, look, the Americans have bombed one chemical plant, they might bomb the one up the road, and if anybody gets killed that has relatives down here, they'll come hunting for you, so because it's payback. So if they do bomb it, there'll be a vehicle outside your house, get in it and you'll go to Tunisia and you'll be okay. Oh, well, bloody good, looking after me. So there I was, I had a nice little house, and I had an interpreter who was an engineer, and we went to the plant. Now this plant manufactured PVC, and to make PVC they use salt water, seawater, and it was quite a big plant. The weird thing was, you know, when you have guards around the camp, sort of site, you know, these people protecting it. Well, this was like Dad's army. They were all ancient, and they had their old-fashioned rifles. A few had AK-47s, but a lot of them had single-action bolt things. And the interpreter said as we were driving up to the gate, "Oh shit! If he insists on you opening the window, do it, but do not react. Doesn't matter what he says or does, don't react." Thinking, all right, so we parked in front of the gates, he came over, I opened the window, and he started ranting and raving in Arabic at me, stuffed the gun up my nose, and carried on ranting and raving. And then he walked away and we drove in, and I said, what the hell was that about? Oh, he loves frightening expats. And he said, if you'd reacted, he'd have got worse.
Oh my God.
Because I didn't react, I got away with it. So that was the opening thing, to get into the plant and try to terrify me, which they pretty well did. Then we got in the plant. Now, the first thing they said was, look, the seawater comes in over there, and there's a pipeline takes it into the factory, but we've got these big strainers that strain out bodies and things that are in the water. They're not working. You know, they're going rusty. So I thought, okay, cathodic protection is what it was. And that's basically where you put a voltage in which is more than the sea is doing. And so you don't get it taking stuff off the metal. You get it to say push it back on the metal. So the cathodic protection is called. So I went up there to have a look at this. Now, first thing I found out was that the control panel, all the fuses were blown. Thinking, oh right, okay. Put all the fuses back in, bang, bang, bang. Okay, let's have a look at the control box on each of these big filters. So I climbed up to have a look, and these maintenance guys from Romania were absolutely useless. Now they knew you had to look, someone just coming in. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Take a few. So they knew that when you have electrical contacts, you have to lubricate them. Yes, true, but not with great handfuls of thick grease. Because when you do that, you don't get any decent electrical connections anymore. You've got all this grease in between. So we got them to clean everything off. Put another set of fuses in, and it started up and it worked. So brownie points to start off with, and so I then had to go down the pipeline with my little meter, checking that the thickness of the coating was okay, and then suddenly grabbed me. I said, what? So the plates are missing. So if I'd have carried on, I would have gone straight down into the sea. So okay, so from then on I was looking as we went. Got down to the far end, and that was the factory. So we were into the factory now. They wanted to know why they're having so much trouble on the conveyor belts carrying the salt. Well, salt is very corrosive, and they painted the conveyor belts every so often. So when you looked at it, you could see all these different colours in the salt because they hadn't cleaned it properly. So that was the first thing. You had to get them to clean all of the conveyor belt. And then I was told you're going to have to do inspect the pipes below and all the gear down. So I went underground and was doing all these pipes. Came back out and they said, "What do you think?" I said, "Perfect, there's nothing wrong with them. They're down there, your guys are up there, so not a problem." But I didn't like that idea. They were a bit offended. So then they dragged me outside because somebody had put the wrong liquid into a tanker. And they were worried that if they put petrol into that tanker, it might have a problem with a melted inner. So they sent me inside to have a look. I've never been in a tanker before, but it was interesting. But it was neoprene inside, so that was quite good. And I was going around it, poking it to see whether there's any soft bits, and there weren't. So I said, "No, you're okay, you can use it for petrol and things like that." So that was okay. Then the next thing that got me involved in was messing with the fire brigade. Now, they had to have a fire brigade on this chemical plant, and it was two English guys, father and son. And so I had several pretty heavy drinking sessions with them. So I went to talk to them about the equipment and how to protect it. And then came the most interesting bit, lunch in the canteen. So I went into the canteen and they got me a plate of food, and there was all these guys sitting around the table. "What do you think of Gaddafi then?" Oh shit. Oh no. And he said, "Don't worry, we know he's a lunatic, we just want your opinion." So I was talking about how appalling it was that Gaddafi was funding the IRA and things like that. And they said, "You know, Gaddafi has done a lot for this country. We now have women engineers working," which I had met, 2 or 3 of them. And we've got a proper government, regional, we've got local, regional and national government. People get elected and sent to these things. I said, "It's really good, but the man is a nutter." And so people ostracise the country because they all think it's bad as him. And the country, in fact, inside the country is brilliant. So the people were just so nice, and I had a wonderful time, and it's nothing like people think.